Alright, so we're in Vilnius, in Lithuania, Eastern Europe, and we're here for a week to do a study tour on how they're building better here, and hopefully take some of that knowledge back to Australia with us. There's lots of buildings here that are hundreds of years old. We're actually in a tower where yesterday that dated back to the 13th century. So these buildings have been here for a long time. So they've worked out durability, and they've worked out thermal comfort for occupants in their homes, and they've worked out how to make those healthy as well. So keeping that indoor air quality nice and healthy. There's lots of practices that probably would not meet compliance back in Australia. You can see the guttering along here discharges into some sort of like rain head device, and then that's like discharges into a pipe there. It's a beautiful, beautiful streets and town, and it's really been enjoyable to walk around, and now I'm happy to share it all with you as well. You can see like a lot of the stone bases, and they have a really unique architectural style here where on the buttresses of buildings they have these clay tiles. It's quite nice. So what is the secret here? How are they getting these buildings to last hundreds of years, be durable and be energy efficient and be comfortable and healthy to live in? It's a really cool guttering detail, like a linear style gutter detail up there, like a rectangle. And then we've got these tiles that look like bricks just on the sides here. Typical render, lots of basements and underground rooms, and then just like, yeah, more modern sort of cladding styles. Always UPVC windows, minimum double glazed. And there's a good contrast compared to the opposite side of the street. You can see some pittings existing on the bottoms here, but this building has definitely got some age about it. What I thought was really cool about this building up here is they have two windows and like a pan flashing. So if you actually look, you'll see you've got this outer pane of glass in timber, and then behind that is another timber window that's operable. So you can open that up, and so there's this air cavity of about this much between the two bits of glazing. They also have retrofitted some ventilation in underneath there, which is really cool. And you can just see the layers of different time periods of the wall structure. So there's lots and lots of these old, this one's a bit more modern, the brick paving, but there's lots of cobblestone streets, and there's a lot of attention to bulk water management with the drainage. Everything along here is UPVC windows, the whole lot, on both sides. From there, across to here as well. So they do all different types of styles. And these ones here are all double glazed. You can see the big hinges that we love to see on the UPVC because they're supporting such heavy weight. And then these beautiful like courtyards that break out into these like spaces. Get up close, you can see there's a much more significant air gap than what we would normally see in Australia. I wonder if they fill those with anything like argon, or if they use low E coatings here as well. I guess we'll find that out. Are you Macron fans out there? This is your place. So one of the other things that is really awesome to see is the focus on retaining all the heritage aspects. So you'll only ever see these little columns here for the advertising. You won't see these big billboards hanging off the buildings or anything like that. It's all very much considered, and it's, yeah, testament, because it does feel exactly like it would have felt maybe, 100 years ago. Even the power cables, overhead power lines are usually tried to be concealed, but they've done that so tastefully as well. Obviously, they're all swapped out with LED lights now, which is cool to see. Again, just all UPVC windows in every single building, and they've replicated them to look like the older historical type of window as well, which is awesome. There was actually a service happening here last night in this church. You can see right at the top of that window is all open and exposed to the elements. I've just noticed they've actually got a phone tower up on the top of that chapel there, but all the sizes of the things that emit all the frequency are the size of the window openings, so they're concealed and you can't see them as much. It's one of the more vibrant buildings in the city. Up the top in gold it says 1743. It's one of the first buildings that we've come across that actually doesn't have the windows replaced. They're still timber. And they look like single glazing, although I'm sure that probably there's a second pane behind like we saw earlier. So, footings, they reckon date back to the 13th century. The bell, possibly 350 years old, forged. The structure in here is just incredible. See the HRV system. Cool as fuck. First day of the Build Better tour in Europe. We're on site having a look. We've got all sorts of interesting things happening. You have the thermal break here with the rigid insulation for where the windows will be installed, and they've also pre-thought that and put it up top as well, fixing it to the light. They're using a lot of block work and concrete form for the ceilings and roofs. And we've got, in this project, we've actually got the screed slab poured, and they're going to insulate off that, and then they'll pour the top slab over. But it's also a pretty nice view out to the forest and the lake beyond. At another site now, and they're using a ventilated cavity with a PIR board fixed directly to the blockwork. So they have a strip footing, blockwork, and then they fix the PIR board and they tape it all off, and then they've got the vertical battens for ventilation, and then horizontal battens are supporting this slate. And they're screwed in with like a stainless steel screw. It's all been straightened. You can see down the cavity. I use this little bit of rubber here at all the joins. And that extends all the way up to the top of the parapet. So now, day number 2 on the Build Better tour, and we're in the prefab factory here. And it's really incredible to see like the level of detail. It's really like standard construction to what we'd normally see back in Australia as well, but they're using like rock wool for insulation and continuous mechanical ventilation in most of them. They have airtight barriers, which you can see on the plastic just over here, and just gantries lifting them. We've got panelized systems over here using cigar wraps, different variations of the insulation values as well, depending on which climate they're going to and which country. You can just see the thickness on top of the roof there with the rock wall insulation and cladding as well. So this is a whole series of panelised systems as opposed to the actual module ones that we just looked at. You can see here we've got the depth, oh goodness, I don't know, of around about 190 millimetres, and that's insulated, but this poly here is the actual vapor, internal vapour and air barrier. and then they've got a layer of gyprock on the outside of the frame. Then they've got their membrane, then a ventilated cavity batten, and then the horizontal battens here for the cladding.
How many cabins?
A lot.
How many you gonna put a finger on?
So this is just further storage areas for the panelised systems. These ones are just frames. You have all different types of styles to suit the windows. Got larger timbers here. This one's pretty significant in size. It's quite a big CLT. And then they're able to put the caster wheels on and just move the modules around wherever they need to. Just see the production of where we've come from. These guys here are just on the tables, putting the walls together. Big one there.
Forward bathroom.
So it's day 3 here at Eco Sky Windows factory. Getting a look at some of the new techniques here. So we've got the slimline windows. These ones here is triple glazed. We've got the glass covered window. That is so slick. Lots of cool little things. Manual opener. Just close that down. Even, yeah, for the heritage, we've got the double hung, nice and sealed, really good quality handles. And there's, yeah, just feature pieces like that.
I'll get in your way.
Moisture sensors all through the factory so that they can keep all the timber at 8% moisture content, so it has an optimum ability to join together when they go into the next part of the process.
This is 30 meters.
30 metres long? And how high? 3 metres?
2.5.
2.5 high and 30 metres long, lift and slide door.
30 meters, mate? Triple glazed.
Triple glazed.
Private home.
So day 3 of the Build Better tour with Eco Sky Windows, and what a trip that has been. Today has been absolutely mind-blowing. We learned so much about the windows that are being produced and manufactured here. Over here we've got a slimline profile which we just do not see in Australia. The triple glazing in this is a U value of 0.7, equates to about an R value of 1.5. We've got 0 threshold. On the other side, we've actually got an aluminium skin, so this is an alley-clad product. We can also see over here the thickness of the glazing, and this is another triple glazed unit. They can do both argon and krypton in these ones, which is again a little bit of a performance increase with a smaller air gap between the two. But if this was a quadruple glaze, which we've seen a few times, it would be down to a U value of 0.3. Well, if we convert that to an R value, we're looking at, I think it's around about an R3. So that's phenomenal. You know, that's more than we can get out of some of our typical 90mm stud frames in Australia. The curved CLT beams. Things to find when you're scooting around. That is pretty impressive. It's day 4 of the Build Better tour in Europe. Thanks to Eco Sky Windows, Monica. Thank you so much for this extraordinary experience. We're just finishing it off with a visit to something a little bit older than what we were looking at in the last couple of days. And I hope you've all enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more content from everyone that's been involved as part of the trip. And we look forward to the next one.